What's up, everybody? This is Andrew Pearman, owner-operator of Pearman Ranch. You guys are tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Check it out.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am a young.
I am a young.
I'm a young.
I am.
And I am a young
Black.
A young black.
Black.
A young black.
black
equestrian.
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 Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
equestrian.
Black equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Young Black Equestrians with your host today, Abriana. Today, we have Andrew Pearman of Pearman Ranch out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Awesome. It's good to be here. Good to be here.
So let me just tell you, when I first saw or came across or was tagged, I don't even remember how it happened, but I remember just pulling up this Instagram page and watching these Friesians just frolic around. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then it's like, okay, this is a person of color. Great. And then I'm like, Charlotte, over there? Like, there? In North Carolina? Mind blown. So, Andrew, please tell us about yourself, how you even got started. Like, I just need to know.
Right. Man, that story is so long. I don't know if we have enough time for all of that. But no, my love for horses started really young, just like a lot of kids. My first word was horsey. It wasn't mommy, daddy, or anything like that. My mom and dad saw that, I just had this natural passion for these animals, and they didn't have a lot of money. My dad was a coach at the time, a college coach at the time up in Massachusetts, and they did their best to kind of get me riding lessons, get around horses as much as they could get me around, and it just cultivated the passion and love that I started with. There was a lot of things in life from that point to now that kind of pulled my attention away from my ultimate goal and doing what we're doing now. But no matter what breed, no matter what it is, I just love horses in general. And, I'm just very lucky and blessed to be doing what we're doing now,
Yeah. So I don't know a lot about Friesians outside of that. They're beautiful. Tell me what is it that you are doing with them? I know they do a lot of different things. I've seen you do a lot of different things, but as far as like the competition in hand situation, what is that? Is that a discipline? Like, I don't quite understand what that is.
Okay, gotcha. So the thing is with the Friesian horse, like you said, they do many, many different things. There's dressage, show driving, literally every discipline, less show jumping, but they do really everything. Now the Friesian horse is a breed that was almost extinct however many years ago, and they had to work really hard to bring this horse back in, back from almost extinction. There is a inspection process that these horses have to go through to be in the KFPS stud book, and in these inspections they're shown in hand. So that's not necessarily a show. That's how they show off their conformation. It's how they get entered in the stud book when they have a certain when they have that certain bit of quality. I guess you want to say. There's also shows as well. There's they have a lot of open shows you can show in hand as well. But for the most part, the stuff that I do in hand, other than showing off at some of these presentations that we've done, it's more of the inspection kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's what they do.
That makes sense. That makes sense because I love seeing the pictures where the handlers are like leaping like a gazelle through the air,
wild.
And
it's wild.
The photographers have an amazing job of just catching those shots. And what is it that they are doing? So tell me about your 5-star recruits. I know Ivan's one of them. You have Nikki. Like, tell me about these horses that have, I guess, served as the foundation of your program.
Yep. Well, first of all, I want to appreciate like the Rivals 5-star reference of football. I appreciate that. So you didn't even know what you were doing, but that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Because that kind of the football thing kind of goes hand in hand in competition with kind of what Pearman Ranch is as well. But no, Ivan was my first Friesian. I got him. He's a 3.5-year-old now. I purchased him the day he was born. It's a funny story. I knew I wanted a Friesian. I've wanted a Friesian my whole life. I didn't know that they could be big and fancy like a saddle horse or like a Dutch harness horse, like you see with Ivan and Nikki, very high-headed, animated, a lot of vigor, I guess you want to call it, a lot of motion. I didn't know that they come like that. A lot of people didn't. Depending on how old you are, America's first experience with the Friesian horse was in this movie. What the heck is it called? It was in a movie. It was in a movie, like an old Knights movie, Eagle Eye or Eagle Hawk or something like that. But just a big, beautiful, maybe what they would consider a classic looking Friesian, not as elegant, just long hair and big, that kind of thing. But anyway, I wanted, a high-headed, beautiful, showy kind of Friesian. I started doing research on bloodlines and sires in the Netherlands. The one that jumped off the page for me was Norbert 444, who's the sire of Ivan. Once I found him, I said, dude, I got to have a son of his. I have to. I was just searching online like everybody does nowadays, and actually found his older brother for sale. It wasn't the right time for me, but that's what kind of opened the door for that breeder. Once I started conversations with her, she said that Ivan's mom was in foal to Norbert again. And I told her, I said, hey, if it's a colt, I want it. Like if it's a boy, it's mine, kind of thing. The funny thing about it is that I had that exact conversation with 2 other breeders with Norbert babies coming in the spring. And I wanted those 2. So I had 3 that I claimed. I said, hey, if it's a colt, I want it. Afterwards, before they were all born, I was like, what am I going to do? I told all these people that I want these. I can't afford all these things. Like, this is crazy. So coincidentally, and again, it was all meant to be. The first one was a filly, and it's a friend of mine's that she retained, who's super, super nice. She was born first. Then I get a random picture text with Ivan on the ground, literally wet, placenta on everything, and the breeder Vanessa said a beautiful Norbert colt was just born, just what you ordered. And I said, boom, he's mine. I want him, that kind of thing. And then the next one was a colt, but right when Ivan was born, I claimed him. I contacted that other breeder. I was like, yo, I got one. Everything's good, whatever. And the way he turned out, of course I dreamed of him being special. But he turned out much more special than I could have imagined. He's totally like you said, the foundation of Pearman Ranch, foundation and even mascot of the Pearman Ranch. Then when it comes to Nikki, he is one that the KFPS, the official registry in the Netherlands, they do a lot of stuff on YouTube. A lot of their inspections, they live broadcast on YouTube. You can watch a lot of them. A lot of people don't understand that or don't know that. And I'll tell you, I watched hours and hours and hours of these baby inspections trying to find like the next big one for me. And when I watched Nikki's inspection from his first 2 steps, I said, that is the one. He just exemplifies natural ability, strong behind, great shoulder, super upright, great natural head carriage, and charisma. He has so much charisma even as a baby then. I was very lucky to be able to acquire him. I think I can't talk very loud because Ivan's like 30 feet away from where I'm sitting right now, but he truly is. Nikki really is just like another step above Ivan. Ivan's appeal is that he's got a heart of gold, that you see my children riding him. Anyone could come over and ride him and just walk around and he's having a good old time. He truly has a heart of gold. I handled him a lot as a baby because he was my first Friesian. I just said, I've got a bunch of daughters, I got a bunch of kids, I want them to be able to be around him. I want them to be able to ride him and all that kind of stuff. I do believe because of that extra handling, I took a little bit of his vigor away. I didn't try to, but if you show a horse a lot of different things, they're not impressed anymore with anything.
They're desensitized.
Yes, exactly. And that's a good thing. And but Ivan really knows when to turn it on, which is exciting. When we get into, we've gotten to Tryon, when we've gone out and we went to the stallion presentations in Indiana a couple times, like he turns it on big time. Like I remember the first one, the night before we took him out, and we do a lot of dealings with these amazing Amish folks up in Indiana at Yoder Equine. Amazing people. I wouldn't trust anybody else with my horses but those people there. Anyway, the night before our presentation, I take him out to just kind of show him the ring, that kind of thing. And he was a little bit of a dud. Like I was getting a little nervous. I was like, dude, what? He's moving a little bit, but he's not the guy I know. Like come on, Ivan, like, bro, I've been talking about you so much. Don't let me down. And that's just being completely, straight up about it. And then, but when the crowd was there, when all the horses were, so many horses were out, when there was so much activity, I mean, that dude it just snapped. And I guess he felt it from my intensity and intent with everything that I was doing with my preparation of grooming him. He knew, he was like, oh Dad, it's time. It's time now. And anyway, he went out there and did his thing. But like I was saying, I handled him a bunch, and it makes him a great horse for the future for my whole family. Nikki's a little bit different. I'm not doing anything with him other than grooming him, running around. You see me running in the pasture with him all the time, having a good time. But I'm not desensitizing him. He knows who Daddy is. He knows, who good grooming, good grooming techniques, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, he's just raw. And I want to keep him that way because he also will be traveling to the Netherlands for inspection next year. And we've got really high hopes for him to, go as far as possible. And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a chunk of this story that's missing. How do you get from, taking lessons as a kid to, looking, even knowing that, or researching Friesians, Netherlands and stuff on the internet in 2019, 2020 kind of thing?
I got you. I guess you got to start from the slightly the beginning of my family's like athletic background. My dad played in the NFL, played with Johnny Unitas back with the Baltimore Colts and the Green Bay Packers. My older brother played for the Seahawks, the Titans, and the Jaguars, and went to UVA, played football there as well before that. So we come from a really competitive football and run and track family. So that competition was built in from the beginning. I was one that, I played football as well, was able to go off and play football at the University of Hawaii for a year. And then I transferred to the University of Virginia, finished playing with Al Groh there. And it was part of my family, but it wasn't who I was. My brother went as far as he did because his focus all the time was football from when he was a kid. I mean, you look at grade school projects where you're writing what you want to be when you grow up. And my brother's was like NFL football player. And mine was a horse trainer with horses, and, even though, I took it as far as my physical ability could, that wasn't my passion at all. It was always horses. I always tried to find some way to have a horse, to be around horses or whatever. I mean, even, I remember having, before I finished at UVA, Coach Groh saw that I would just I'd be the first one that I'd leave from practice. Like after practice, I'd just jet. But he'd say, "Hey, Pearman, what's going on? Like you're not in, you're not getting involved with the team as much as, I'd like for you to." And I said, "Well, Coach, I got to go feed my horse. I gotta, I'm going to do my horse stuff." And he was like, "Look, you gotta do something different because, that's not what our team needs, kind of thing. So I had to, you know, cut it back even then to be,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to be successful there. But anyway, when football just, you know, didn't work out, it didn't, because that's not what my love was.
Right.
You know, I didn't put in that extra effort, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, afterwards, it's very interesting. I saw, you know, horses to me was a very expensive thing, you know, because I wasn't, people are going to take this for whatever they want to take it as, but I didn't want to be the strongest midget, right? I wanted to be at the highest level, period. I didn't want to be the best Black and Puerto Rican kid. I didn't want to be the best, you know, kid my age of doing anything. No, like my parents taught us to be the best, period. Right. I'm not going to allow that mask to keep me from, you know, to give me or to be an excuse to not achieve greatness on whatever level or whatever avenue that I choose to go.
Right.
And obviously with horses being my ultimate passion, like I was not going to let anything stop me from, you know, heading on the track that we're headed on now. But anyway, you know, after college, you know, I got married up like a lot of people do right after college, start popping out children. You know, and that even then I tried so hard to keep horses involved in my life, you know,
Right.
even when it really wasn't smart financially. You know, I made it happen, like having other horses in the past, you know, saddlebreds, Arabians, that kind of thing. You know, and it really took, you know, I guess, understanding that I wasn't in the right relationship, the right, I just wasn't in the right place to be where I wanted to be.
Right.
You know, we had to make changes in life. You know, and that, you know, that marriage didn't work out, and you know, I started off on a new path, and the new path was, I guess, really building without confinement for our future. You know, and I felt like my future was building this brand of now, I didn't know Pearman Ranch back then, but building this you know, this breeding and this training deal. And I couldn't do that then.
Yeah.
But you know, I did luckily find an amazing lady that that is one of the backbones of Pearman Ranch, that, you know, understands the dynamic of someone with a passion and someone as motivated as myself, that you know, as much as I set goals, I stay open to opportunities as well. You know,
Yes.
that's one of my advices to people getting into horse, or really anything in life,
Right.
is I don't believe you need to stick so hard on one thing that you close off other opportunities that could happen for yourself. Right.
Absolutely.
And you know, with horses, that's, you know, I've run into that a few times, you know, with saddlebreds. I said, I'm gonna be at the World Championship Horse Show with this one mare, and I'm gonna, and everything fell apart because I was so stuck on that exact thing. You know,
Right.
I neglected so many other things in life, and you know, that's an old story. But you know, but yeah. So I mean, again, I just, from relationships not working out, to now again being at a place where we can actually build and you know, have the freedom to, and trust of, hey, this is, our family's going to do this. Okay, we're trusting you.
Right.
We got your back.
Right.
You know, let's let it ride. And no pun intended with horses, but yeah, that's what we're doing now. So you know,
Good.
I hope that answered your question. That was a long monologue,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah. No. That is why we are here, to get this
Yeah,
information, because it's
sure.
so important for people to see. We have so much of our audience that is coming into horses after life has happened to
Sure.
them, and they are, you know, looking for that extra motivation. You know, I've always wanted to do this as a kid, but insert all the things, you know, and now that I have the means and the ability to get back into it, you
Yep.
know, it's feeling safe to have those dreams again, you know.
Hmm.
And some
Yep.
people, you know, when they're talking to other adults, you know, people are like, you want to do what? Like
Yeah.
at your big age, like
Right.
and it's like, you know, if it's a passion, if it's something that you haven't been able to pursue, why not? Like there is
Yeah.
no I feel like every time I open Facebook, it's like 80-year-old woman competes tennis endurance race. And it's like
Absolutely.
there's no boundaries here. There are no
Yep.
boundaries with horses, period.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about it is, you know, there's not many other pastimes slash sports that you can pick up later on in life, and you know there be so many avenues, not even just competition, just enjoying, just trail riding,
Mhm.
just riding,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
brushing or grooming, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there's not many other pastimes or, like I said, or sports that you can do at such an older age. You know, I know that when I can't ride anymore at whatever age, I'm going to be driving. You know, I'm going to be
Mhm.
driving. You know, they're going to be pulling a fine harness cart or something. You know, Viceroy or whatever. You know, and then when I can't do that, I'll just be grooming and looking and just watching and just smiling
Mhm.
and you know watching my kids enjoy it or my kids' kids. So you
Mhm.
know, there's
Mhm.
no matter what age, horses are appropriate for absolutely anybody.
Right. So now that we've gotten the backstory, let's look at the right now. We got TikTok, we got Instagram, like you guys are just all over the place. What has been the most kind of heartfelt or amazing part of this experience sharing, you know, what it is that you've built there at Pearman Ranch?
Um, I think it's the private messages that I get from and I might get emotional talking about this because it's real. Like this
Mhm.
is as real as it gets. But it's like it's the messages that I get from parents when specific well, there's a few. One I'm literally thinking about right now where uh it was right before Tryon. And I did a live video and I was saying that, you know, I'm nervous. You know, I'm nervous and this is gonna be awesome, but I'm nervous. And this one gal wrote to me and said, I really appreciate, you know, my daughter loves your TikToks and your Instagrams. And she saw that live video and she said, she was like, oh my gosh, Ivan's dad gets nervous. Like, I can't, you know, and but it was confirming that it's okay for her to be nervous. Like she's a horse girl as well. Like
Mhm.
she does, you know, she's an
Mhm.
ethnic horse girl that does, you know, whatever discipline. But
Mhm.
she didn't know that when you know, no matter what level you're at, no matter what the quality of your horse is, that you can still get nervous. And you know, so the most heartwarming thing about any of this stuff is the message that I get from people saying that I'm truly like motivating them or inspiring them or confirming to their kids that you know being nervous is okay, you know,
Mhm.
and that you know it's giving them like more hope. uh
Mhm.
you know, I am trying to be, and I am like as authentic as possible. Like I'm not trying to be
Mhm.
political. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to, you know, get fans in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, in doing something, thinking how or is someone going to react to what I'm putting out. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a video as I'm doing it. I'm going to post it, put some cool music, and put it out
Mhm.
there. You know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's you're literally looking at our lives in that. You know, and
Yeah.
that's nice to hear as well as when people you know tell me that you know as if with all the horse pages that they watch that they will look at or whatever you know, on any of those platforms that ours seems one of the most authentic, that it's real, that
Right.
they're looking into our you know our family dynamic, our blended family, our you know our everyday life, and that you know not everyone not everyone has the ability or the wallet or the motivation to be a Grand Prix dressage rider, right? Or
Mhm.
any of these super like not everyone wants to do that, you know. And
Right.
yes, I do have uh, you know goals of grandeur again of Ivan going to the Netherlands, doing however or whatnot, but that's not our everyday life. Like it's really
Right.
not.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Ivan doesn't look spectacular every day, and you don't see that. You know, I don't take glamour shots every day, and you know, you see
Yeah.
the realness of what these you know what our horses are and what we are as people.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and that's again that's so heartwarming again is hearing you know people say how authentic and real we are. because we are.
And that is one of the things that drew me to your account as well, and prompted finally reaching out, because sometimes you get this kind of over polishing, like, highlight reel of people's lives, and it's like, I'm not quite sure what the motivation is sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
But I recall seeing two videos. One was a long time ago. I think it was Nikki. You were about to clean out his back hooves, and
It was Ivan.
It was that Ivan. Well,
yeah.
he was kind of not having it, and it was like, the fact that someone would show this, and not try to paint a picture of something that's not reality. That's what we talk about here, like passion, culture, and lifestyle. It's not super polished. It's not. It doesn't have to be. It's there is no like silver, kumbaya rainbow that we're all trying to get to. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so between that and you were walking both of them, and that's why I knew you had to have some sort of athletic background, because the way you moved your feet out of the way, I was like, oh, he is doing drills like something
right. Fast feet.
Because he moved fast.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
I was like, that is, like, I appreciate that so much about your platform.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that the first video you're talking about, it was a long live video that we had. And I did post it, and I was getting so many comments, and this is something that was premeditated, like after the fact. So I slightly take back what I said before. But this was more for education. It wasn't for politics or anything like that. But so many people were talking about how sweet and kind and loving and all this stuff that Ivan is. And he is, but he has his moments too. And I didn't want people to think that that he's perfect all the time, because he's not, and after that live video, obviously you can like save the video to your phone. I took that clip and I cut it out and then posted it, because I was like, look at this dude. Cause not everybody watches. Well, not everybody watched the whole like 15-minute long thing. So I took that 15-second clip and put it out there and put it on TikTok and Instagram. People were just going nuts about it. I think this is on subject / off subject, whatever, is whenever dealing with horses, people have to understand their own ability, right? They have to understand their own physical limitations as well. And what I want to also make sure that people understand is that I take risks that I take because I am confident in my physical ability, right? That I can hold both stallions and they could freak out. And I feel confident that I can stay under control if they take off running, right? Which I was able to do. That being said, just people need to make sure they know their own limitations. Again, if you're a dude that's 110 pounds and you're behind 1,100-pound Ivan and you're holding his leg up, and he tries to kick out at you, like, get out the way.
Right.
Like maybe don't try to hold it, because bad things can happen. Yes. Or again, if you don't have, that's another thing. Again, maybe I need to do a better job at, but I have such a bond with my horses because I spend so much more time than the normal horse person with their horses. I had Ivan when he was 4 months old. I probably missed from 4 months old to now where he's 3.5. I probably missed 3 months altogether, every day I was there with him. Right. So in situations like that where he acts like an idiot, I know that he's just having a moment, and then as long as I ride that wave for a second, he's going to be fine after that. That's why in that video I held on to his leg, because he's going to remember when he was a baby and I could actually slightly manhandle him. Dad's got me, I can't move, but he could kill me if he wanted to. So, public service announcement, like, know your limitations, know your physical limitations, know the relationship you have with your horse, how much they trust you and vice versa, before you try really, any of that kind of stuff. So, it looks cool, but there's so much more that comes with that for me to be able to handle those horses when they freak out, trying to take a pretty picture.
Right.
Or when Ivan, tries to yank his leg away from me or try to kick me, and I'm like, nope, not today, brother. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, that honing in on that message, not knowing your limitations and knowing, when you're in over your head and knowing when to ask for help. A
mhm,
lot of times
absolutely.
people kind of glorify this, oh, one-on-one relationship with your horse, you should be able to handle it. You should be able to, like, yeah, that is the case. But sometimes you need to ask for help so that you
Mhm.
can build that relationship safely. If you
Yeah,
don't have
safely.
that experience, asking for help is really not as bad as you think it is.
No, I mean, it's not bad at all. It's not bad at
Hmm.
all. I mean, I would, I would say, for myself, I don't have any, traditional horse training.
Hmm.
This is coming from years of riding. I've got a lot of really close friends that are horse trainers. So getting advice from them, um,
Hmm.
and just understanding the relationship, understanding, for the lack of a better term, being the alpha slash, I hate saying dominant one because that sounds a little bit aggressive, but for
Hmm.
the lack of a better term, saying like the dominant one, right?
Hmm.
Because again, when horses are wild, they're in a herd, they're not going to follow the weakling. They're not going to
Right.
follow the one that's, batting their eyes at some scary stuff. No, they're going to follow the
Hmm.
one that, that exudes confidence.
Right.
It's funny, somebody, we've got five or six stallions at our barn, or seven, 6 or 7 stallions in the barn. And
Hmm.
all of the ones that are on like my training side of the barn, they're all right beside each other. They can all touch, they're all beside each other. And I remember somebody asked, oh, who's the alpha? Who's the alpha stallion at your farm? I said, me. Like me. I
Yes.
said me because you know what? If any of these dudes, which they have, they're going to continue testing like their whole rest. That's
Hmm.
what they are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what the horses in the wild do. They,
Yeah.
they constantly test to say, oh, can I be the boss? Can I today? Oh, nope, I
Oh,
can't. All
not
right, I'm
today.
up. I'm up. Exactly. All right, fine. I'm going to stay in my lane.
Hmm.
But you just have to have the confidence and the know-how to make sure you keep them in check that way. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And your journey is kind of similar to mine. I've had my walking horse at 6 months old. And
nice.
so, we couldn't do anything or I couldn't
Exactly.
ride him, obviously. So
Right,
there was
right, right.
a lot of desensitizing and handling. And
Yep.
I mean, to this day, I don't live with him now, but I mean, 2 months, 3 months go by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ride today. So I'll go out
Yep.
there and I'm like, buddy, just a few
Let's go.
hours. And he's like,
Yes.
okay. Like,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
fine, girl,
Peep,
leave me alone.
That's right. That's right. People don't, some people don't understand the importance of imprinting like that. Again, if you have the ability and the patience to get a horse young, even if you send him off for training after he gets to the correct like riding age or training rate age, you have built such a bond with this animal, they will never forget it. They will never forget it, and like you said, as long as there's that respect, that it's not a puppy
Yeah.
dog, right? You're not sitting on your lap because you can get hurt that
Hmm.
way. But if
Hmm.
you gain that respect, the way you're supposed to with horses,
Hmm.
from that young age until training, whether you do it or you send them off somewhere, they will always remember that.
Yeah.
They will always remember it. And it's a bond that uh, you can't explain to someone that hasn't had that, right? Like
Mm-mm.
you can't
Mm-mm.
you can't explain it. You got to say, listen, it's the most amazing thing to speak the same language with someone that doesn't speak your language, in a sense, right?
Right. Right.
And have that connection, that what they're thinking, and you can create something beautiful with that connection, for years to come. So
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you feel I feel like we've covered this just a little bit, but more specifically for Frisians, what do you feel like is a major misconception that people have about them?
um I think it's changed a few times, for the time that I've had Ivan and the ones that I have now. A lot of people think they're like draft horses, that they're just
Mm,
big and slow and not hot, for lack of a better term, or have a lot of vigor. I like vigor. It's a great word. But yeah, that's a misconception that they're just big and all of that, but they can be as hot as saddlebreds, you know, they can be as hot as Arabians. You know, the difference is that they bond with people so much, you know, they it's like they want to be with people. I've said it before many times actually, that you know, I've had a bunch of other breeds and I've had horses for a long time, but Friesians by far are the ones that like lock in with you so much more than any other breeds that I've had. Again, other people can have other experiences, but you know, once I started, and I've got a Facebook page that I've had since I got Ivan, and it's got a pretty decent following on there as well. And I feel like I started showing people the hot-blooded, you know, big trotting, high-headed Friesian when they didn't know that even existed, right? So, you know, showing all the approved stallions in the Netherlands that are just, again, naturally trotting like higher than some of the top saddlebreds, have stronger hocks than so many other breeds. I mean, you know, they're amazing horses that just need to be seen, you know, and if they're not, you know, they're not going to be appreciated and they're not going to continue to grow.
Yeah, I appreciate the level of quality that you continue to share and kind of promote, you know, just instead of, I don't know, like backyard breeding has, like, I'm on the fence with that, but
Sure.
when it comes to, you know, having quality horses and still keeping them involved, you know,
Sure.
you have these amazing dreams, getting them, you know, oh my gosh, I blanked on the word, but looked at in the Netherlands.
Inspected.
Inspected, that's the word. Yes, inspected in the Netherlands. Like, I just appreciate that about your program. And I mean, North Carolina of all places, how did you end up here?
Well, like I said, my dad was a coach, a college coach at Williams College. That's where I was born, in North Adams, Massachusetts. We moved down here when we were three, or when I was three. I'm from a family of five kids. But my family still lives in Charlotte. Our farm is just outside of Charlotte, but my gym where I work is uptown Charlotte. So I claim Charlotte. Nobody knows where Cherryville is. Sorry, Cherryville people. But yeah, Charlotte's an awesome place. I've got some pretty solid roots here with my PT business, with amazing clientele that I have and friends through that. And you know, Charlotte's a good spot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just down there a couple months ago for a trail ride in Shelby. And
That's 20 minutes from me. That's 20 minutes from Cherryville.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to make my way down there again,
Yes,
because
yes.
that is, you know, a gym right here in, you know, a place where a lot of people don't think of horses. You know, horses doesn't equal North Carolina really, unless they're talking about Tryon, you know, for English disciplines.
Sure.
So I love being able to find, you know, when people are reaching out like, oh, I'm in Georgia, I'm in California, do you know any places there? And I'm like, I'm in North Carolina, y'all.
I know. Exactly.
trying to you know give people resources. But with Pearman Ranch, do you do lessons, or is it just training? Like, you know?
No, we don't do lessons yet, because lessons are only as good as your lesson horses. And right now we just don't have any lesson horses. You know, we've got some young training horses and our own. But we do have people come by and visit and kind of see horses work, that kind of thing. And as we grow, you know, I would love, it would be amazing at some point to have, you know, 2 or 3 quality Friesian lesson horses for people that have never been around or ridden a Friesian before. You know, again, I let people get on Ivan a little bit. That's going to slow down, as obviously he's going to the Netherlands, and I want him to just be like top. You know, but it would be nice to have that, because a lot of people don't have that opportunity to even see a Friesian in real life, because they are niche.
Mhm.
I want to say there's only like a few thousand KFPS in North America. I mean, like,
Mhm.
not a few, not three, I mean, 45, something like that. It's a low number. It's a low
Right.
number.
Right.
And it would be great to have a lesson program at Pearman Ranch with Friesians.
Mhm.
That would be something that I don't know is around here at all. So
Yeah,
we
no.
like being different, and again having stuff that people can't really get around or see anywhere around here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like the last time I saw Frisians in work, in person was at medieval times
Yes,
in
yes,
South
exactly, exactly.
South Carolina.
Yep,
So,
yep. And
yeah.
that's exactly how people associate, or what people associate Frisians with, is
Mhm.
the knight's horse. And
Mhm.
again, that's the descendants of people call me out on the history a little bit sometimes, but like the descendants of the Frisian horse were knights' horses. So again, and now in movies, like anytime you see a medieval movie, if you see a big black horse with some feathers on the bottom of his legs, it's a Frisian. Because if it's its presence, its nobility,
Mhm.
it just
Mhm.
looks like a horse you'd run into battle with. So um, I wanted to piggyback on your breeding thing that you were talking about a minute
Mhm.
or two ago.
Mhm.
It is so important. That's another thing I want to help educate as well. Um, because I talked about how the Frisian horse was almost extinct, um, and the inspection process is, a way to maintain quality in the Frisian
Mhm.
horse, right?
Mhm.
Not saying that if they don't go to inspections, they can't be quality, because Ivan has never been to an inspection, and won't go. That's our choice to do that. And it's just going to be a show horse, but he exudes the type of quality that people are looking for in a breeding horse.
Right.
But people just need to be very, very careful with breeding Friesians, because they do have some genetic disorders that can be compounded when you're
Mhm.
not really looking at like breeding coefficiency, and if you do too much line breeding, and some horses carry the dwarfism and hydrocephalus, something where
Mhm.
babies are born dead, which is very sad.
Mhm.
um so people just need to be very smart with understanding what quality is.
Yeah.
um I think uh, it goes both ways. Um, some people allow the inspection process to be what tells them is what is quality and what isn't.
Right.
I think that's a problem, because that's
Yeah.
allowing someone else to tell you what's nice or not.
Mhm.
Now, again, if you're trying to, like we are with Nikki, if you want to be in that field, then yes,
Mhm.
you need
Mhm.
that quality to be, judged by that group of people, right?
Right.
But in general, quality of a horse, straightness of leg, you know, uh, length of neck. I mean, quality of disposition, like that's a genetic
Mhm.
thing that is passed on.
Mhm.
People should educate themselves on looking at all of those traits and saying, hey, if you've got 4 out of the 5, yes, you're a good breeding horse. If you've got 2 out of the 5, then probably not. If you got 1 out of the 5,
Yeah.
don't even breed it, right? If you got
Right.
5 out of the 5, and you're not inspected, which I believe Ivan is, then I believe he could be a quality breeding horse, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
because again, there is some backyard breeding, and I think people, need to learn a little bit more what a quality Friesian is. Just because it's purebred doesn't mean it's quality. Also,
Mhm.
just because it's imported doesn't mean it's quality either. So,
Yep.
you can buy
Yep.
whatever you want. Doesn't mean it's going to be good or not.
Yep. Yep.
So, and the thing is, anybody that's just getting into horses, if they've got these few things, if they've got patience, if they're willing to work hard, and if they're dedicated, can have a Friesian horse. Like
Mhm.
anybody that's buying a horse could have a Friesian, right? But with any great thing you want in life, you have to make sacrifices. Like you have to.
Mhm. Mhm.
At the point when I bought Ivan, um, you know, we weren't eating the best of food that 6 months that I had to pay for him. I was like,
Mhm.
guys, we're going to cut back on some luxuries for a little while so that I can
Yeah.
buy this baby.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was the boss and I could, tell the little children what to do. as long as they were eating, everything was fine. But
Yeah.
you know, if you're willing to make the right sacrifice, anybody can do it. Because I do see that a little bit sometimes with a lot of folks is like, you know, they see Ivan, or they see, you know, Nikki, or some of the, you know, the high end horse that we have, and they
Mhm.
don't even think about, oh, I could do. I mean, come on, that's some high end stuff. Like I can't even, you know, they're this, they're that. It's like, well, educate yourself on, you know, on what it took to have these
Mhm.
horses,
Mhm.
you know, and realize that you could do it too. You know,
Right.
if you just swallow your pride and say, hey, I got to put my head down and get on the grind and save some money, and you know, for however long you need to save, you
Mhm.
can be just like us, like, and even better.
Yes.
So
Yes.
mhm,
Yes. That is absolutely why we do these interviews, because I'm like, we're regular people.
mhm,
We're regular
yeah,
people with
yep,
dreams and passions,
yep,
and you know, taking those incremental steps. It wasn't, you know, you decided today and you got it tomorrow. It was
no,
strategic. It was planning. It was
it was,
making that investment in yourself and in, you know, these horses. So it's
yep.
absolutely attainable for
and
everybody.
and also not without heartbreak either, you know, not
Mhm.
without the hard times either. So you
Mhm.
know, it's always a struggle, like it truly is. But you have to say, hey, this is what you love, and it's part of it. You know, you can't
Mhm.
say having nice horses is always going to be cupcakes and rainbows, right? It's no, the more you have, the better you have, the more issues you will potentially have too. And you just have
Yeah.
to understand that that comes with the territory, and you
Mhm.
got to just prepare yourself for you know, those moments when things don't work out, you know,
Yeah.
those moments where things do happen, in that you know, you don't get too frustrated. You're allowed to be frustrated, you know,
Mhm.
don't, you know, you can't be too tough, um,
Mhm.
you know, and understand that it's just part of it, you know, that it's
Yeah.
gonna, if it hadn't happened, if anything bad hadn't happened, it just, it's going to at some point, you know.
Right,
So
right, right, right,
mhm.
right, right. All right. So my last question before we get into the derby round is, what does the word equestrian mean to you?
Equestrian means anything to do with horses, like anything you do with horses, you know, whether it be riding, looking at, drawing, it's equestrian. So
Right,
yes.
right. Absolutely. All right. So the derby round, you just answer with the first answer that comes to your mind. Um,
Oh,
just a few questions. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's all horse related.
let's
But
go.
all right, let's go.
Yay.
English or Western?
Western.
Solids or spots?
Solid.
Bays or grays?
Grays.
Brown tack or black tack?
Black tack.
Sponge or curry brush?
Curry gloves.
I Yes, I have a pair of curry gloves. They're freaking amazing.
Best, yes.
Um, shod or barefoot?
Shod.
Or gooseneck?
Uh, Gooseneck.
Rope halter or nylon halter?
Uh, Leather halter.
Understood,
Yes.
understood. Wood fence or electric fence?
Electric.
Your favorite piece of barn equipment?
Favorite piece of barn equipment? My
Mhm.
horse, because he can plow the arena, you know.
Oh,
We're
well,
old school.
good. Good.
We're old school, yes.
Favorite piece of tack?
Favorite piece of tack? Uh, my bridle. My bridle. I've got a few cool ones I like.
When was the last time you fell off?
Ooh, 3 weeks ago, the second time I rode, second time the Arabian Stallion that I'm training now was ever ridden. Like I rode him first. It was great the first day. Second day, I got a little cocky, and yeah, I hit the dirt. So a few weeks ago.
Okay. And if money was no object, what is one horse related purchase you would make?
Oh man, that's a great one. One horse related purchase that I would, horse related purchase. Uh, you know, just like another horse. I would buy an approved stallion. That's what I would buy, like a $2.5 million approved stallion. That's what I would buy.
Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
feel it. Well, that's the end of the Derby round. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day talking to me and sharing your story with our audience.
Absolutely.
Let everyone know where they can connect with you and watch more of your work.
Yeah, so everybody check us out at The Pearman Ranch on Instagram, also The Pearman Ranch on TikTok. You can also check out our website, thepearmanranch.com.
All right. And they can get some merchandise. I see you got a shirt on.
Yeah, check it out. Pearman Ranch right here. Check them out. That's right.
Good. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Head over to our Facebook or Instagram pages and let us know what you thought about that episode. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and have the opportunity to be featured in our next episode. See you next week.